Hey, 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 hey. Good Tuesday evening. Meteorologist Chris Sowers here. It's dungeon time. You ready? Are you ready? I'm ready. You want to talk about snow? What you laughing about?
Laughing at you.
You laughing at me? Guess who's here? It's my little Cuban friend, Honey. Say hi, Kate.
Hi, Kate. No.
Say hi. As I trip over the
On your face.
So how are you today?
Everybody.
Tell everybody how you're doing.
That's so I'm doing good. We were just talking about, Kate and I were just talking about how it's so cold in our studio.
Yeah, we're always freezing.
That
always.
I love when it's colder outside because then I get to wear like a turtleneck.
Yeah.
And it's not weird for South Florida.
You know, it's funny because I've seen a lot of people wearing coats and stuff over the last couple of days, and it's actually needed. I don't think they're overreacting for a change. So it's just kind of, I like it.
We're not complaining.
No.
Not compared to the rest of the country.
Right,
Yeah.
we're being chill.
And
No pun intended.
you saw all the snow up there, right, in the Northeast?
I mean, we were talking about it at, was it 5:30 or 5?
Yeah.
I would not be able to sustain that.
Have you ever seen snow, honey?
I have. Actually, in New Jersey.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's the first time I ever saw snow. We have cousins that live up there. So when I was 12, first time I saw snow. And we landed in Jersey. Don't ask me what town because I don't remember where they lived. But it snowed that same night.
Oh, that's neat.
And now
Good.
we were just like, this is the best thing. It was so much fun as kids because as kids you're like, the cold doesn't really faze you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we went to Buffalo, New York, and then went to Niagara Falls.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
It was like real cold and icy, but because we had never seen it,
It was
like,
fun
oh my God,
and
it was fun.
exciting.
It was fun.
Yeah.
We didn't want to leave.
See, snow is great. Everybody agrees. Snow is great. Everyone loves snow.
As an adult,
It's
I'm
fun to
like,
play in.
it was fun to play in for a week.
It's not hard. It's not fun to maneuver in real life.
Okay, so you see where your knees are, right?
Yeah.
What?
The snow is probably up to about your thigh, like halfway through your. How tall are you?
You're a lot taller than me.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'2".
You're 5'2".
So the snow probably
The
covers
snow probably comes up to your eyebrows. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, that's like,
There's a lot. I mean, some areas 30. Providence, Rhode Island, about 38 inches of snow. That's more than 3 feet.
I've seen the
So-
it's just getting blown away by the wind too. It's
Yeah.
just, it's just been
It looks
rough.
nasty. Yeah.
So there was a 98 mile per hour wind gust on Cape Cod. That's Category 2 hurricane strength. Yeah, that was a powerful storm. They're calling it a super bomb.
Yeah,
So, yeah, but they're calling it a super bomb because it wasn't 24 millibars in 24 hours. It was 39 millibars. It was almost double. So it's insane. Yeah, that would be, you know what it would be like, Connie? Because I know this is kind of what you're used to. It would be like you going to bed and there's a hurricane with winds of 75 miles per hour, and then you wake up and it has 140 mile an hour winds. You know, that you're right. That's what it was like.
I have to give it a. I have a friend in Islip. They got like 30 inches, and he shoveled his whole driveway by himself with a shovel.
Wow.
He said it took
It's
him-
a heavy, wet snow,
Yeah,
too.
twice. Took him 6 hours, but he did the whole thing, and I'm like,
Wow.
you're a beast.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, you think about, it's not just like being, like you have to be cooped up in your house for probably days at a time, I would imagine.
It would take a couple days just to dig out. Yeah.
Power,
That's the thing.
Snow is so heavy.
Correct.
And then you run into so it's not just like, okay, well, you're used to the snow, but if you don't have electricity, how do you heat your home?
Well, it's just like us when we get the hurricanes down here and we lose electricity. How do you cool the home, right? So it's right. I agree with you.
That
It's
means you can move, well, I guess sometimes you can't move around because there's trees on the ground.
so what my mom said. She said the biggest problem was digging all the cars out and all the school buses because you've got like 2 to 3 feet of snow on the ground. Where do you put it all? I mean, think about it. So. Right, where do you dump it? And it's just, now the good news is they're not in a deep freeze like they were in January. So temperatures are like in the 40s tomorrow. It's going to start melting.
This is, I was going to say, is this just starting to melt off?
Yep, it's all going to start melting. Like when the storm hit, you remember we had the deep freeze here, 3 straight nights in the 20s or whatever it was? Well, they had like temperatures below zero. It was crazy how cold it was. They had snow on the ground for a month because it didn't melt. So this is completely different, even though it's way heavier. Temperatures starting tomorrow are in the 40s, and the rest of the week I think is going to be in the 40s up there. So it's all going to melt. But it's just, you ask, and I've got a lot of folks on here right now, and they're all saying we're done with winter. We've had enough.
Yeah.
We want spring.
Well, based on how many New Yorkers I see at my pool every weekend that fly now, I'm going to agree that a lot of them are coming down.
Well, listen, everybody, Hani has room. She has a spare room, and she is saying, please come down. She would love the company. And you have spare room too, right?
I'm just like that. I have a spare room. I have a pull out. It's warm-ish.
It's warm-ish. Very good.
Ish right now, but it'll warm up.
My buddy Walter Perez, he always says ish on the end if he's just kind of like, yeah. It's sort of warm. It's warm-ish.
Bye, honey. You guys stay warm.
See you, Hani. All right, let's talk some weather. We got a good audience on now. Hey, Chris, it's only 50 in Jacksonville. My niece says that's pretty cold for Jacksonville. Yeah, I mean, imagine I was joking around, right? Imagine you're coming down to Florida to get away from all this mess, and you come because that's what people did when we were in the deep freeze here in January. I remember because I was. Yeah, Kate's family was here, and I was getting the emails because people were coming down, and we had 3 straight nights in the 20s. And the one day, we had wind chills in the teens. To just give you an idea where we are, this is West Palm Beach. I mean, we're like, what are we, like 2 hours from the Keys? I mean, we are all the way down here, and we had wind chills in the teens during that. So, I mean, it's just unheard of down here. So
It's time to move to the Caribbean.
yeah, so if you're looking to get away, you know, we always say move south. Well, no, you got to move to the Caribbean. All right, that's the only way you escape this mess. All right, let's talk about what's going on here. Now we got two. Well, actually, there's 3 systems. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's 3 systems that we're watching. All right, one is going to be this. I don't even know what you want to call it. Coming in tonight. This is really tonight. Honestly, is a nothing burger, which I'm sure you guys love the sound of that. And then we're watching another thing as we get into, I believe it's Thursday into Friday, Thursday night, or Thursday afternoon into Thursday night. That too right now is starting to look like a nothing burger. All right. But the GFS, all hail the GFS.
Your favorite.
Right. All of a sudden, it's my favorite forecast model. All hail the GFS. All of a sudden, the GFS is dropping about 3 to 5. With that system, okay? And then the GFS, oh hell, the GFS is showing a pretty sizable snow as we get into, I think it's Monday, all right? Now, right now it's pegging it north of the Philadelphia area, but it's a major snow on that model, okay? So let's break these down. Let's go one at a time. First is going to end up being, hit the wrong button. You guys with me? Okay, there you are. All right. First, let's talk about this thing coming in tonight. So this is right around now, all right? We are using the NAM. This is the North America Mesoscale 12-kilometer here. This is a short-range, high-res model. Here comes the snow. It's light. That is... See, this is coming in, like, really, really early in the morning. Like, let's say... Well, let's do it this way. Let's go to the 3 hours. All right, so it's already in there by... You know, it's snowing... Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's snowing at like 4 o'clock in the morning north of the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Really, really light. Snow by 7 o'clock. But notice it's not doing a darn thing in the city of Philadelphia. Maybe some flakes mixed in with some raindrops. That's about it. The same thing. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. It's actually raining down at the shore. All right, very lightly. Light snow showers to the north. Again, this is, you know, just not a big deal. And the model shows this. So let's assume for a second this is correct. All right, there could be some slick spots out there tomorrow morning. North of the Pennsylvania Turnpike, it has about a ½ inch. So a coating to an inch in the Lehigh Valley. Maybe you get 2 inches in the Poconos out of this. But you can see, I mean, from the Turnpike south, this is a nothing burger, okay? So that is system number 1. All right, let me load up the next one here. So right now, this thing, the only areas that, now I do want to point this out though, okay? Because of all the snow, and you've had some snow melt today, there's going to be black ice out there tomorrow morning. All right, so just watch that. Even if you're not in an area that's going to pick up the falling snow, which is really, really light, you know, to begin with, there's still going to be black ice out there. So you got to be really, really careful. All right, that's the first chance of snow. Here comes chance number 2. And for that, we're going to lead off with the European model, which is widely regarded as the most accurate forecast model out there, which did a terrible job with the blizzard. Remember, oh, hail the GFS. Okay, so here it is, European model. And this is the next system that we're tracking. So as we get into, watch this thing come across the country. Now what's interesting is the European and the GFS see this completely differently. Shocker, right? I mean, that's pretty much what they've been doing since the beginning of winter. Here it comes. All right, this is early Thursday morning. All right, that's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 7 o'clock in the evening Thursday, and then bang, it's off the coast. See that? Hopefully you were looking there. If not, I'll rewind it. Here's the Philadelphia area. Let me zoom in. Here we go. It suppresses the system, keeps it to the south. Meanwhile, here comes the GFS. The GFS says, hold my beer. Here it comes. Dum, 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 dum. Traveling across the country we go. That looks quite a bit different, doesn't it? There it goes. All right, so that is, let me back it up. That's 10 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, nothing. 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it is now snowing. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 7 o'clock in the afternoon. That is 10 o'clock in the evening, Thursday. 1 o'clock in the morning, Friday, it's gone. So we go from this for the Thursday and the Friday. That's the European. That's the GFS. European, GFS. European, GFS. European, GFS. So I'm in like rare form today. I don't know what it is. So again, I don't know, it doesn't surprise me because this is how the entire winter season has played out. So GFS showing a good 3 or 4 inches here by Friday morning, okay? Now, it is in Cuchera, okay, which takes into account snow ratio. So, but I would say this. We are, we're getting late in the season now. So what I would do, so for example, here's if you just do standard 10-to-1 ratio, that's what it shows. It shows 3 to 5. But if you put it in Cuchera mode, notice it's 3 inches everywhere, okay? So this is the mode that you put it in when you're talking about snow ratios that are something other than 10 to 1. Whether or not temperatures are warmer than 32 degrees, which would give you a low ratio, or temperatures are colder than 32 degrees, which would give you a higher ratio, a higher fluff factor. That's what you use. You use the Cuchera for that. When you're going to get a storm, that's your standard 10 to 1, temperatures around 30 degrees, then you use your 10 to 1. Or you're not expecting any mixing or anything like that, then you use your 10 to 1. This you got to put in Cuchera, and it shows a solid 3. It is getting late in the season, though. We're talking about the 26th and the 27th of February. The sun angle is getting higher. So what I would do is, assuming this is correct, and I'm just assuming right now, I would take an inch off the top of this, okay? So I would say instead of 1 to maybe 3.5, let's go 1 to maybe 2.5, or 1 to, potentially 3. So just a little bit lighter. But again, European has that. GFS. Okay, so that is the second chance of accumulating snow. So the first one is the Nothing Burger coming in tonight. Some slick spots north of the PA Turnpike. Maybe a coating to an inch or so in the Lehigh Valley, perhaps 1 to 2 in the Poconos. That's it. All right, otherwise you got to watch the black ice first thing tomorrow morning. That is chance number 1. Chance number 2 is this thing coming in here Thursday, later in the afternoon, and into Thursday night. European suppresses it, okay? Whereas the GFS, on the other hand, says, okay, it's game on. So the difference here is when we got this blizzard, I'm going to show you this here. Actually, I'm going to show you this right now. When we got this blizzard, okay, you had one hand, the European, showing everything coming together just a little bit farther off the coast. It still had a good hit for the Jersey Shore, but that was really it. And then, of course, the GFS from day one went bonkers and had storm of the century. We all know that the GFS ended up being correct. So the reason why the National Weather Service was able, because the National Weather Service, look, I got to be honest, did a kick-butt job on that storm. From day one, they threw out the big numbers. and they held it. If anything, they started, whereas people were starting to hedge a little bit because the European wasn't there, National Weather Service upped their numbers, and they were correct. So they by far did the best job on this. That includes everybody. They did the best. They got some talent over there. They did not do very well on the January storm, and I think they'll be the first to tell you that, but they did very well with this blizzard. So what enabled them to, just keep on saying, all right, this is a hit, this is a big storm? Why were they able to do that? Here's why. I'm going to show you right now, okay? So if you remember, again, you had Europeans saying one thing, GFS saying something different. The difference was this, okay? This is the NAM, all right? This was the short range model. You started, when you break 48 hours, you start, and actually in some cases it's 72, you start looking at the high resolution stuff. All right, the high resolution NAM was in the camp of the GFS, and that was pretty much money in the bank as far as the National Weather Service was concerned, and that's why from day one they went big numbers, and that's exactly why they continued to put up big numbers. So what about this time around? Is the NAM in the GFS's camp? Here it comes. The answer to that is no. Okay? It sides with the European. There's what the NAM has. It has maybe a couple of snow showers in southern Delaware. All right? So there's the European. There's the GFS. There's the NAM. So right now, out of the European, which is that, and the GFS, European, GFS, I would actually side with this right now, okay? Right now, okay? We'll see. As we all know, these models have been an absolute mess. An absolute mess. And that's putting it lightly. But, the fact that you've got the high-resolution NAM in the camp of the European model, and the European model is showing the suppression right now, that's the way I would lean. Now, you could still don't get me wrong here, even though I would be leaning that way, watch, I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning, look at the computer guidance, and everything's going to show 3 to 5 inches of snow on Thursday, so I don't even know why I'm saying this. But I would lean towards the European, but even the European is showing at the very least some snow showers out of it. It's just not showing the, 1 to 3 or 3 to 4, whatever it was. Actually, let me look at it again. It's showing a good 2 to 4. All right, so it's not showing that, but it is still showing some snow showers. Okay, that's going to lead us into the final threat, and for that, we're going to go back to the GFS. All hail the GFS. All right, here we go. So now, this is Sunday night into Monday, 7 o'clock. So this is 0Z Monday, which is 7 o'clock in the evening on Sunday. Of course, right? Why would you think otherwise? It always cracked me up how they do Zulu time. But 0Z, remember the models update, 12Z, 18Z, 0Z, and 6Z. All right, 0Z is 7 p.m., 6Z is 1 a.m., 12Z is 7 a.m., and 18Z is 1 p.m. So this is 7 p.m. Sunday. All right, here it comes. Watch it. Here's the Philadelphia area right here. We're going to watch this thing march across the country. All right, see it? There it is right there, okay? Now, I'm just going to show you this, okay? Keep in mind, all right, that is a Monday event, right? Let me see. Hold on, let me just double check. That is, yeah, assuming it's correct, it would start snowing Monday morning, early Monday morning, and just keep going. All right, so assuming this is correct, all right, now remember, we are well out of the range of accuracy for any operational model. So I'm just going to show you this, but keep in mind that the chances of this panning out, the way that this model is actually showing, are very, very slim. But the reason why I'm going to show you guys this is because it needs to be watched. Because, you know, we all saw the crazy numbers that the GFS was putting up with this blizzard, and it actually ended up being right. And it probably was, what was it, about 5 days in advance? It was 4 or 5 days in advance showing the crazy numbers. I mean, it did such a tremendous job on the blizzard. So here's what it showed. Now, what is today? Today's Tuesday. So it's Wednesday, Thursday. Well, wait a minute. That is an 18. Yes, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So this is 6 days out. I'm going to tell you right now, no way this is going to verify, okay? But again, I'm going to show it to you because just so you guys get an idea of what kind of moisture we're talking about. All right, that's what it's showing right now. All right, it's got 18 inches in the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton area, a foot in Allentown, 17 in the Poconos. You can see 6.5, an additional 6.5 in New York, 1 in Philly. So it's centered. It's centered to the north. All right, which is good. I mean, you guys don't want another clobbering down here. But look at this. It's got another 15 to 20 up here. So this is something that we'll have to watch and watch very, very closely. Do I think it's going to happen? I absolutely have no idea. I'll be straight up honest with you. I have no idea. But I'm showing you this just so you guys know. Obviously, you know, I'm going to continue to update you throughout the next, week. This would be, again, 6 days out. And we'll just see. We'll see how the models trend as we get closer. All right. So that is snowfall chance number 3. So, again, we've got the Nothing Burger tonight. All right. Just a couple of snow showers up there in the Lehigh Valley. Maybe a coating to an inch. Poconos, maybe you get 1 or 2 out of it. Watch the black ice tomorrow morning. All right. That's snow chance number 1. Snow chance number 2 is Thursday afternoon and Thursday night. That could potentially be a couple of inches, but it could also be the suppression. So that would be number 2. And then number 3 would be Monday of next week. All right, those are the 3 chances. So we got a nothing burger, a potential nothing burger, and then a potential double Whopper with cheese. Is that how, right? You're talking about a huge storm. What is the...
I love your analogies, Chris. They're great.
Double Whopper with cheese? So what is the... Hold on. What's the counterpart? So you've got... All right. So Whopper is Burger King. So what's McDonald's? Big Mac.
The Big Mac.
That's right. All right. So you either got a potential double Whopper or a double Big Mac.
I'll take the Big Mac.
You'll take the Big Mac?
Bye, everybody.
See you, Kate. Okay. That's the snow. Let's talk about... All right. Let's talk about the cold, all right? So we got this cold shot coming through now, all right? It's obviously cold. It's going to warm up, okay? You can see, remember these blues are misleading because you're like here, you would think, oh, this is a cooler day. You're going to be in the mid to upper 40s tomorrow. But remember, the average highs are increasing so much now that the blue doesn't mean the same thing that it did back in January. Okay, but technically it is below average on Wednesday, and then there's Thursday, again a little bit below. Then here comes Friday and Saturday, and then here comes you know what, I'm going to do it this way. Hold on, just so you guys get a better idea of what's going on here, because we're getting into that time of year where the colors are going to start being confusing, because again, like the high on Wednesday, 45, you're probably more like 47 or 48 here on Wednesday, all right? All of these numbers are probably going to end up being a couple degrees warmer. It's got 41 on Thursday, 42 Friday. Look at Saturday, 51. Sunday, 44. There's the potential big snow right there. You can see the colder temperatures. Look at the overnight lows here. But then bang, you're back up into the 40s and 50s, all right? So what's the one thing that we've been talking about for a while now? There's no more... All right, one thing that I already saw someone comment, I don't know what the guy's even talking about. I never once said it was not going to snow again. I never said that. As a matter of fact, I've been very adamant saying it can still snow in mild patterns. I must have said that 30 different times over the last week. So I don't know what he's talking about. But I have also been very adamant in saying the sustained cold is gone, okay? Whatever, and I mean, unless you consider this cold. I don't. When you start getting into the 40s, I don't consider that cold anymore. It's chilly, sure, but it ain't cold. This is cold, all right? This right here is cold. What you guys pulled out of about a week and a half ago, that ridiculous cold shot that lasted like a month, that's cold, all right? Sustained cold lasts for at least a week. A cold shot lasts maybe 2 or 3 days. And what I have been very adamant in saying is the sustained cold is done for the winter season. You will still get cold shots, a couple days worth of cold. So chilly to warm, all right, cold shot, and then it's kind of chilly to mild again here. You see what's going on? Okay? So now I'm going to leave you guys with this because it's 7:50. We're starting to get a little late here. I want to try and answer some questions. But what is interesting, and again, I'm going to go back to the anomaly map here. Just remember, it's a little misleading now because we're not in January. We're in the end of February. So the average high temperatures are increasing every single day. But what is interesting here is this, okay? So this is March 4th. Now watch what happens as I progress along. This is all Canada right here. There's Alaska. There's the Arctic Circle. Here's the United States. All right, now watch this. All right, there's March 5th. Okay, here's the Philly area right there. See the above normal temperatures? Remember, by March 5th, the average high, I believe, is at least 50 degrees. Okay, so you're warmer than that. There's March 6th. Looks like a cold one. There's March 7th. Bang. Look at that. Look at the warmth. March 8th is a blowtorch. March 9th is a blowtorch. March 10th is a blowtorch. Look at that. March 11th is also a blowtorch. But what's the one thing, what's the elephant in the room? Look at all that cold up there. So what's interesting here is, I mean, we're talking March 11th, and I don't know if we might actually officially be in spring, where, you know, it's the 21st of March or something like that, and this mess may come down. Now, it might not necessarily be frigid cold where you're like, oh my gosh, I can't take it, but it looks very, very chilly. So there's a lot of cold air still up here. The Arctic Reservoir has not run dry yet as of March 11th. Now, if we get this down into the United States, it's going to end up being a chilly late March, early April, if being the big question here. All right, but it's there. There's still a lot of Arctic air up there. So, and that's March 11th. So we'll see. And again, it's just like, look at the blizzard. It's just like I said before. It doesn't have to be crazy cold. It doesn't have to be like 10 degrees to get these big snowstorms. It just has to be cold enough. It was raining Sunday. It was raining for a long time in South Jersey. You would have stayed rain unless that low developed. If the low didn't develop and deepen like that, that storm became a monster. If it doesn't deepen like that, you might have stayed rain in New Jersey, or maybe you would have changed over to snow at some point during the middle of the night, and maybe you would have had a 3 to 5 inch event or 3 to 6 inch event, not a 20 to 24 inch event. That storm, it strengthened 39 millibars in 24 hours. Bombogenesis, you know, what we call a bomb cyclone, is 24 millibars in 24 hours. It almost doubled that. It would be like rapid intensification for a hurricane. Like you go to, like I said to Hani, you go to bed, it's a Category 1 storm. You'll wake up the next morning, all of a sudden it balloons into a strong Category 4. All right, that's exactly what that storm did. But the point being, it wasn't all that cold. All right, the storm manufactured its own cold air and wham, just walloped you guys. So again, you know, even in the blowtorch scenario here coming up, you know, after the 7th of March, assuming that is all correct, you can still get snow in mild patterns. All you got to do is get the right storm track and thread the needle. All right, you get the right storm track and maybe you time things out just right with a brief cold shot. Storm comes in at night and you can get snow. Okay? Okay, so that's going to do it for me. Let me answer a couple of quick questions, and then I've got a little bit of work that I need to get done, but I'll try and answer. Again, I'll be going over all of this stuff all week. So I think the thing coming in tonight, just if you're just now tuning in, is a nothing burger. There's a good chance right now, I would say probably a 60-40, 60% chance of a nothing burger on Thursday. Just some rain and snow showers. But there's a 40% chance that it could be a 2 to 4 inch event. All right. It's not 50-50. I am leaning more towards the nothing burger right now, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens with that. So that's chance number 2. And then of course, chance number 3 is the potential double Whopper with cheese as we get into Monday of next week. Could you imagine if you guys get walloped again next week? You guys, it's the winner. It would be the winner that I've dreamed of my whole life since that blizzard. I mean, the blizzard of '96 was by far my favorite snowstorm in my lifetime. I remember, what was I, 96? Well, I was born in 75. So what am I, 20 years old, something like that? And I remember there was so much snow on the ground. And I think I've told this story before. I had a lot of kids in my development. So, I had a lot of friends. I remember it was 9-on-9 or 10-on-10 tackle football in my neighborhood in the middle of the street because we had 30 inches of snow piled up. It was crazy. My stepdad was playing. My twin brother was playing. I mean, it was literally like 9-on-9 or 10-on-10 tackle football. We had each team with a quarterback, each team with a guy had to have at least one running back in the backfield. You had receivers lined up. I mean, we were playing tackle football in the middle of the street in that storm because who's driving anywhere in 30 inches of snow? We had end zones lined up and everything. I mean, it was wild. It was so much fun, that storm. And then when the plows finally came through, if you remember, and they probably did it with this storm because it was a heavy wet snow. When the plows come through, they create these big snow boulders, right? So I remember getting the old-fashioned sled. You remember the wooden sled with like it's wood on like two, I don't know, like skis almost, and you just pull it, not the discs that they have today. And I remember collecting these big boulders. I remember picking them up like this and putting them on the sled and pulling the sled back to the yard and building a huge snow fort. And then we built another one on the other side of the yard, and me and my brother are just firing snowballs at each other, having a snowball fight. Friends were coming over, same thing. It was just so much fun. And I'm 20 years old, and I'm acting like I'm 10. So, but I mean, it was a lot of fun. But I mean, imagine if you guys get another one of those storms. Oh, you guys are going to hate winter. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm going to get some work done. I'll answer some of these questions in between. But you guys take care. Just watch the black ice tomorrow morning up there, okay? And I think you'll be okay. And then tomorrow we'll do this all over again at 7:30, and we'll see if the nothing burger for Thursday is in fact a nothing burger, or it becomes maybe a quarter pounder. I don't know, what's a good one? You got a double Whopper, you got a Whopper, those are big ones. Yeah, let's say quarter pounder. It could be a quarter pounder, maybe a nothing burger. I gotta stop talking about burgers. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.